what's this about Canada, the Canada Arts Council? What's going on with that?
Yeah, there's a lot going on with that. It's a terrific story. I love to tell the story. So a couple of months ago, I applied to Canada Council for the Arts, and it's a program under the Canadian government that allows developing artists or mid-career artists or artists in general to work on projects that they want to pursue, whether it's documentary, film, etc., etc. So the reason why I love the story is because I was at the Post 2 weeks ago, and I had been waiting. They had asked me to send a few things in, and I had been waiting. So I got to the Post, I checked the mailbox, and I seen that Canada Council for the Arts envelope was in. And I had gotten denied before, and it was like a small white envelope.
It was the big envelope?
It was the big envelope. So I stood there, and when your adrenaline starts rushing, I was like, ooh. So I opened it up. And I was like a kid on Christmas morning. I was literally jumping around in the Post. I was so excited that I had gotten accepted, my project had gotten accepted, to research. My idea for a documentary is on veterans here in the community. And it's starting with my grandfather, who was in World War I and II, and he was on the USS Lexington when it sank, and he was awarded the Navy Cross. And one day searching through like boxes of things like in my uncle's attic after he had passed away, I found a letter from Harry S. Truman, the president.
Wow.
And it was a salutation letter to my grandfather. And then I found a diary of when he was on the Lexington describing like what he would do every day and where they were going. And I was just amazed. Like I knew he was in the war and I knew that he was a veteran, but I didn't know his story. So I talked it over with Mike, and I said, I think I'm going to apply. I think this is something that I really want to do. So I wrote up the proposal, and it was like the day of the deadline. It was like April 1st. It had to be in, and I was at the office, and we usually go to eat like every Thursday or Friday, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to make it. I went to the Post. It was 5:00. They were closed, and the woman was still in there, and I said, can I just please get this stamped and sent out? And she said, no, I'm closed, I'm done. So I was like, fine. So I came out and I was defeated. I literally was like, I'm not gonna do this, So Mike says, no, we're gonna go find a FedEx somewhere. So we drove, we called, we finally found a FedEx, and I had given up at least 3 times. I was like, we're done. And he kept, no, you're gonna do it, we're gonna find it. We finally found it. I sent it out. It was stamped. It was done. It was like probably around 7:00 at night, right? We had the kids with us. We were.
No, it might have been later than that because it was dark.
It was dark. We had the kids with us. We were like, and then we went to supper. So, anyways, so I'm glad that he pushed me to do it. Now it's set in motion. So I got the letter. I sent back that I accepted, and now we're allowed to, because they have policy that you can or, what you can or can't do. So now we're allowed to announce that the project is getting underway. And we're going to be looking for a lot of veterans here in the community to tell their story or that want to share their story and help develop the project. So I'm just really excited about it, and I think that personally, I just think that, there's so many veterans, there's so many people in the community that have served in the military over the years, starting way back in World War I to now, right in Iraq. And I'm just excited because I think it's such a huge part of this community and a story that's never been told.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that. And I was stunned like 10 years ago to learn that in Ganawake. Do you know that there were veterans of the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, from Ganawake?
Really? See, I
These
didn't
were
know that.
the Legion would be a good place to start. But these were guys, they used to work in the logging camps in New Hampshire and Vermont and stuff like that. And the Union Army came looking for volunteers in those camps and said, you're a volunteer. There's one story I was told about a boy in his teens. Stepping in for his father because they were going to take his father, and he said, I'll go. And the rest of the story is what needs to be told,
There was a man in the Boer War. It's before, I don't know, in the 18th.
Yeah. Well, there's the Nile exhibition. That's kind of well
It's going
known,
to be a crazy, anyways.
all that, but the
Yeah.
story about your grandfather is amazing.
I was
Agreed.
amazed, like, when I started to uncover things. So I thought, wow, if there's this here with my family, how many other amazing stories are there out there in this
There are a lot.
community to do
There are
with
a lot.
veterans? So it's just a project that I'm so excited about, and I'm really hoping that people will come out and help and want to tell their stories. You know, eventually we're hoping to do like the other part, which is all the production next year. But first we're going to, and I say we because Mike is going to be organizing a lot of the
Mhm.
work with the Legion and the men and things like that, and then all of the interviewing process and things like that is going to be done by me.
So the grant is for the research part of it right now?
Yes, the grant is for the first part, which is the research.
Oh, this means that you will be eligible to apply
Yeah,
for
next year
the
for
production
all the
grant.
production. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And it's usually like hand in
Congratulations.
hand, right? So
Yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
excited. I'm just like, oh, you know, it's just it's been a dream of mine to produce a documentary and to research a documentary, and I just think like the timing, it's crazy, but I think everything happens for a reason. So we're really looking forward to that project. So I suspect that it's going to be a long year of researching it. I have 1 year to finish the project and then present, the end result back to Canada Council in December of 2011. So Mike has already started to talk to some of the veterans in the community, and they seem pretty open, right?
Yeah, it's because that story's never been told, there's been different stories on different topics in the community, and you know what, when she said that she was going to do it, I said, you know what, there's probably so much information out there, there's gotta be some kind of a record. What I was saying is that for such a small community, per capita, the amount of men and women who have been in the armed forces, Canada, United States, and elsewhere, there's got to be a lot compared to other communities our size.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard that. In fact, what I had heard at one point was that Ganawage, as a community that's on the Canadian side of the line, for a community of its size,
Has more American
per capita, more people to enlist in the U.S. military services than
Yeah.
any town in the United States.
So,
Yeah, and
so
why-
that's
why
some,
is that?
yeah. So that's some of the things, and
Excuse
then
me.
why is that all happening?
I think it's
Yeah.
part of the long part of our history.
History. 'Cause I think where we look at ourselves more, I guess, American than we do Canadian.
And why? So these are some of the things that I'm going to explore in this next year. So I wanted to start with my grandfather. And I don't know where it's going to lead me, you know what I mean? And I don't know, we don't know where it's going to end up. And I think that's part of the research phase is where do you see this documentary going, and could it be a documentary? For sure it can, but what is going to be the focus and what will people get out of it? So, I think it's going to be a very interesting project, and we're definitely looking for people to tell their stories and help out. So if they're interested, they could give me a call here at 632-6397, or Mike, same thing, 632-6397. So
Okay, so
that's it. My
Regan,
thought.
thanks for coming in. It was nice to talk to you again, second week in a row, and updating us on all that stuff. And with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more of Straight Talk.